Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 342. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, which is where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and that is where I sell my hand-spun yarns and my knitted patterns. Hi, how are you? It is Monday, August 23rd. It is going to be a scorcher this week here in Kansas, and I hope that you are doing well. We are staying indoors, both because it is hot and because, of course, COVID. And that has given me lots of good crafting time. But we did not do that much this weekend. Wes is still training in the hopes that he can do his Ironman in November. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed for that. And otherwise, we mostly hung out around the house and watched some disc golf and just kind of relaxed. I took a couple naps. It was really, really lovely. And I also got a lot of knitting done this week. So I am pleased with myself. I finished a bunch of things, some of which I can show you, not all of which I can, but I'll talk about them. And in general, I'm just feeling the siren call of fall, and I think I have one more week of working really hard on a lot of things that are in process, and then I might even get to cast on a few new things, which makes me super thrilled. So I will start, as I usually do, with the tea. Today I am drinking tea that was graciously sent to me by, well, I don't know necessarily if she watches the podcast. I think she does. She was a member of Team CKT for the Tour de Fleece this year, and she sent me some tea, and it is a maple chai from Murchie's, which is a tea and coffee brand from Canada. And this is black tea, ginger root, cinnamon cloves, licorice root, natural and artificial flavoring, crushed red pepper. And she said this is perfect for iced tea. I'm drinking it hot today, but if I like it, which I presume I will, this might be this week's pitcher of iced tea. So I'm drinking it today in my Hoops and Yo-Yo mug, a vestige of Hallmark, which is here in Kansas City. Ooh, that is nice. I like it. It's just got a slight maple tinge to otherwise a chai spice. It's really good. Ooh, I'm going to enjoy that. So I can't tell if the red pepper is there or not. My tongue is tingling a little bit, but it's also hot. So I'm not sure. But that is really nice. Thank you so much for sending that if you're watching. So this week I got lots and lots of knitting done. I finished the sample that I was doing for Knit Picks. It is finishing drying, and then I'm going to take it to FedEx tomorrow. That was a big win because that was a lot of yarn and a lot of knitting and has taken up the last 6 weeks or so. So the second project that I finished, and I'm so excited to show it to you today, it is not blocked, but it is finished. Whoops, and I just lost a ball of yarn, is my Easy Like Sunday Morning sweater. This is a sweater that I was test knitting for a lovely friend of mine who is part of my knit group. Her name is Ashley Turnbull, and she is known as Reed Street Knitting on Instagram, and it's Reed Street Designs. And she made this fabulous kind of easy pullover out of Juniper Moon Farm Bud, which is 100% organic cotton. It is a bulky weight, and it is a little bit of a boucle, so it's got a really, really nice texture. And this pullover is just an oversized V-neck pullover. It's got a little bit of ribbing detail, and then it's got kind of a broken seed stitch. She decided not to do a lot with the stitch patterning because, of course, the boucle already gives it some texture. And I knit this in the size 3, which is I think a 38 to 40, and I should end up with about 44 inches. It's meant to be knit with 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. This is just a great sweater to bum around the house in. It's good for cool summer breezy evenings at the shore, but also I think it will be great for fall. And here it is. You can see that there are still ends hanging out. All of my ends are woven in, and I am just waiting to block, and then I always snip my ends afterwards. So I did snip them a little bit shorter, but you can see some ends hanging. But these are the sleeves. They're just elbow length sleeves, or just a little bit more. I added just a little bit more than the pattern suggested, but that was the only modification I made. Otherwise, I knit the pattern as written. It's got this gorgeous wide, deep V-neck that's just cozy and comfy. And then it's just a long top with, you know, just a little bit of 1x1 ribbing detail at kind of all the edges and at the V-neck as well. So this was a fun, quick knit. I used about 700 yards. I just had to break into my 7th skein to do the final ribbing on the 2nd sleeve, and I suspect that if I had not lengthened my sleeves, I probably would not have had to do that. So 6 to 7 skeins for the medium size, which is approximately what I knit. Obviously a little bit less if you go smaller, a little bit more if you go bigger. This pattern is currently in test knitting. My guess is she'll release it in the next few weeks. She was giving 4 to 6 weeks for test knitting, and I want to say we're in week 3, maybe week 4. I thought she released it right at the beginning of August. So my guess is we still have another 2 to 3 weeks before she releases it. But you can check her out on Instagram. Again, Read Street Knitting, R-E-A-D Street, and knitting, all one word. And again, this is the Easy Like Sunday Morning sweater. And now I wanted to show it to you because I knew that if I got it wet and blocking, it would not be dry in time. And also I'm currently blocking the Knit Picks knit, so that's taking up most of the bed. So now I'm going to finish this and you know, block it in the next couple days, and then I will be ready to wear my new sweater. Again, I use Juniper Moon Farms Bud in Primrose, which is this lovely magenta kind of colorway. So that is a finish, and I am super, super thrilled about that. I also had a, well, I shouldn't say a finish because it's not really a finish, a partial finish. I hit my goal on knitting Miles' sweater, and that is I am knitting him a Little Sock Arms inspired sweater, which is by Stephanie Lotvin, who is Telly Bean Knits. Instead, I am using the Flax Light pattern, which is by Tin Can Knits. I just wanted a top-down raglan. I didn't want to think about things. And so I finished the body, and I played Yarn Chicken and won. I think I am maybe an inch shorter than the body says in the pattern, but I just knit everything I had. So this is just a top-down raglan. I omitted the garter stitch details because I'm going to be doing sock yarn for the sleeves, which is why it's called Little Sock Arms. It will have nice stripy sleeves. But this is the sweater body, and I am done, and this is what I had left when I finished the final round. I kept looking at it and hoping and hoping and hoping, and I suppose it's not that close on Yarn Chicken because I have at least probably 12 to 18 inches, but I am pleased that I used the yarn that I had and knit it all up. So the gray is a ball of Dreamin' Color Smushy in the colorway Prince William, and I believe that means it was 450 yards to 100 grams, and so I am knitting the 6 to 8 size. Miles will be 5 this fall, but I didn't want to knit the 4 to 6 and have him basically grow out of it this season, so I'm knitting it big. Hopefully he can just cuff up the arms. So, body is done, which means I hope to get the sleeves done this week. And again, if you haven't tuned in recently, the sleeves are going to be done in this fun, stripy colorway called Sharknado. The ball is a little worse for wear, but it will be fine. It is stripes of red, kind of this green, and then a royal blue, and then, of course, a gray. And I think that's going to be really nice against the gray body. So I will start on those this week, and I am very, very excited, and my goal for this week is to get both sleeves done so that by the time I see you next, I have another finished sweater. As I said, I am trying to move through a lot of things on my fall list, and I like setting goals for myself each week so that I can try and get through things. I am definitely a product knitter. I like seeing what I am working on come to fruition, and after working on a lot of things last month, I'm super pleased to be finishing up a ton of things this month. So my hope is to get through this week and have a finished sweater to show you next week. We'll see how that goes. So far I've done pretty well on my goals, so we'll see. So that is the second work I have in progress. The third work that is in progress, or the third project I worked on this week, did not get much time at all. And that's really my fault. I was working on getting all of the other things done, and so I am going to make a concerted effort to work on this week. This will not be finished this week, but my hope is to have far more progress to show you next week. And that is the Positive Vibrations shawl by Marinja Knits, and I am knitting it in 3 colors of Zen Yarn Garden Super Fine Fingering Merino, which is a superwash merino and nylon blend, and I am knitting it in 3 solid colorways called New Navy, Tangerine, and Scallions. And the reason I'm not showing them to you is because one of the balls fell off the couch and rolled way behind the camera, and I can't get to it easily. So I will show them to you in the shawl. And as I said, I have not had a chance to work on this much. I've only added just a little bit. Last week when I showed it to you, I had left off right here. This was section 6. Section 7 was a bunch of garter ridges, and then section 8 starts with more short row shaping, and you can see how these little sections are going to create more waves. So as I said, I really, I only worked on this over the weekend, and I did not have a lot of time to work on it because I was focusing on getting those other deadline knits out the door. But this is going to be a project of major attention this week, so hopefully you will see lots of it. So again, this is a asymmetrical shawl. It starts at a point, and I've got my New Navy, and then Scallions is the green, Tangerine is the orange, and this shawl is big on short row shaping. Every single row of the shawl is written out. There are some garter stripes in between. The knitting is, I would say that this pattern is not for beginners because you need to have a solid grasp of short row shaping, knitting the double stitches, kind of picking up and working stitches, but it is not super difficult. It is just, it requires concentration, and it requires being able to follow the pattern and count. So that's sort of a warning. Like I said, I would say it's an advanced, I don't know if I'd say advanced beginner or intermediate. It's not hard knitting, it just requires concentration. And I am enjoying it, and I love seeing the shapes kind of grow and take place, and I really hope that I have quite a bit more to show you next week. This is going to be my focus project for this week's, which means I'll work on it every day this week and try and really get cranking on it. I would love to have it done by the end of the month. I don't know if I'll quite make it because that is middle of next week. And I just don't know if I'll get it all done that fast, but the first week in September for sure. So you'll only see this a couple more times would be my guess. Anyway, again, that is Positive Vibrations by Marinja Knits. So, and then the final knit that I am working on, and this one needs to be done and out the door this week as well, although I am making good progress on this. I also worked on this last week, is I am working on another chicken, and this is just a little bit of what I am working on so far, and this is for the, I always sort of abbreviate, this is for the City Girl Farm. They make they are the home of the original chicken footstool, and they are life-size or a little bit bigger chickens that are art pieces crafted out of wool, and the wool is either knit or felted or spun and then knit, and I am one of the knitters who helps them knit. And so I am currently working on, you can see I haven't even wound it up because they're big oversized skeins. I just drape them over my knees and knit. I did not do this spinning. There is a lovely spinner here in Kansas City who does the spinning. And this is kind of a marshmallow or kind of a neutral. It's mostly white, and then it's got sections of kind of toasty hazelnut and then some dark chocolate or espresso. So I am working on that with some textured stitches, and that is the other project I'm working on, and that has to go back by Friday. So that is another project. I'm guessing these two will be my primary projects for this week, and then I hope to get the sleeves in on Miles' sweater, which means by next week I should be able to cast on something new. And I can't decide what. I do need to start working on winter gear for the kids and also socks for the kids, so I'll probably do some of that. I also would really, really, really like to cast on something else for myself. So I think I'm probably going to cast on a shawl. I think I have the pattern picked out. It's a Vera Valmaki pattern, and I have some yarn that I bought at my birthday in shades of green and gray. But we will see how I get through things this week, and providing I make satisfactory progress, if I'm going to let myself cast some things on, I will bring some new things to share with you next week. So sip of tea and then a brief bit of spinning content, and then we'll move on with the day. So those are my current knitting projects. I did actually decide to spin this week. I have not spun for the last few weeks, which in part is because I did a lot of spinning for Tour de Fleece. And so I was kind of spun out, but also because I had a lot of knitting to do and I really needed to get some deadline projects done, and I just didn't have time to sit at my wheel. However, partway through last week, I decided I really wanted to sit at my wheel. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and so I think it was Wednesday, and I sat down Wednesday night at Knit Night and dug into a braid. And the braid was called, I think, Berry Season, and it is from Koomasee, who is Koomasee. Links are in the show notes. She is an Etsy shop, and well, I shouldn't say she because I don't know if that is their preferred pronoun. They are an artist out in San Francisco. They are BIPOC, and so I have enjoyed patronizing their Etsy shop. They have some really, really, really beautiful colors, and actually I just got a new order in this week, which you will be seeing in the coming weeks as I spin more. But this is called Berry Season, and it's got kind of blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and then it's also got a little bit of what I think of as the stone fruits. It's got some peaches, and it's just a really lovely kind of summer fruit season. Purples, pinks, oranges, reds, and I am almost done with the second bobbin. This is 2 ounces, and I tore this into small strips, and I'm applying sort of for maximum barber poling, but I think it's not literally gonna be a semi-solid, but because the colors are all kind of in the berry tones family, I think it is really gonna come out kind of definitely in a color range, and even though it's gonna have lots of barber poling, I think it's gonna produce kind of a consistent look and feel in terms of colorway. So I don't know if I explained that right, because it's not a semi-solid, it is variegated, but because they're all in the same color family, I think it's going to be a very tonal spin. So, like I said, I am working on the second bobbin. I have 1 or 2 small little bumps of fiber left to spin. My plan is actually to spin those up when we're done here, and then probably not ply till tomorrow night, because I have a few other things I need to finish. I need to get that sample for knit picks, get all those ends clipped, and make sure that is ready to go. So this will probably be plied tomorrow night, but then it will go up in the shop. And I have selected my next braid. I'm not exactly sure when I'll start or what schedule I will keep, but I decided that I did want to go ahead and spin this week, and I decided that I would kind of celebrate the seasons almost ready to change till fall. This is a recent club from Hello Yarn. It was I believe, June 2020, and it is called Skep. And it is oranges and yellows and browns, and to me that just screams fall, and I feel like there's almost a little bit of purple in it, although I can't decide if that is just brown or if it's also got a little bit of red tone in it, but it's just got all these gorgeous fall colors, and it is making me think of fall and pumpkin spice lattes and apples and cider apple donuts and somewhat cooler weather, which is kind of funny because this week it's going to be in the 90s here. So it is not going to be cool. It is going to be really, really sweltering. But my hope is that I can channel fall with this lovely braid that will then go into the shop. This is Organic Polworth. And again, it is from Hello Yarn. So that will be what's on my wheel this week. I have quite a few other braids I would love to get through this fall. If you are thinking about holiday shopping, my shop will be open, and I would love to send you some hand spun. And I think that is about all I have. So I hope that you had a wonderful weekend, that you are healthy. I keep saying that because I keep seeing lots of things happening all over the world. I hope that you are able to find a few moments of peace in your crafting, find something beautiful, and escape from doom scrolling and whatever else we're doing that is sort of getting us through. But I hope that you can find, again, some peace and some art and some beauty in your crafting, and that you have a lovely week ahead. And I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye!